Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kat and this is Catadactyl. Today I'm going to be doing my June TBR. I have a lot of books from Japan on my shelf because I studied Japanese culture and language and literature. I also live in Japan and it also really interests me. So I figured I am going to strive in the month of June to only read Japanese books. The majority of these books are originally written in Japanese and then translated into English. A few of them are written by authors outside of Japan, and a few of them are written by Japanese people in English originally. So I will make sure to mention that as we go along. So like I said, I am trying to read all translated books, so my TBR is going to be one video for June, and it has 15 books on it. And I know that you're thinking like, wow, that's crazy, but it's not that crazy because most Japanese authors usually fall 200 pages or less for the length of their books. And knowing that I was going to try to read so many in the month, I really tried to pick novels that were on the shorter side. So I hope that I can give a real overall view of Japanese literature. I have a whole smattering from manga to nonfiction to historical fiction, which is based in fact but has some fiction elements as well as straight up fiction. So I will also let you know as we get into each of those levels. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. So the first pick for June is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Winds, a manga by Hayao Miyazaki. So this manga was made into a movie, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Winds, and we follow Nausicaa, who is the princess of the valley, and she is trying to both defend her valley and also find out what has created the poison forest, and she wants to create a harmony between mankind and the creatures that live in the world. The actual movie of Nausicaa is one of my favorite animated films of all time, if not one of my favorite films of all time. The music is stunning, and the proceeds from the movie are what actually ended up funding Studio Ghibli. So if it wasn't for Nausicaa, there would be no Studio Ghibli. I'm really excited to read this. It is actually in English, although it was first published, of course, in Japanese. So next up is another manga called My Brother's Husband by Gengoroh Tagame, and this one has become really popular because of its great queer inclusive elements. So the book focuses on a man whose brother, who was gay, moved to Canada and married his long-term partner. His brother ends up dying, and then the partner comes to Japan hoping to seek some closure or learn about where his husband was from. So this book is really important because gay rights in Japan are non-existent. A lot of Japanese people believe that gay people don't exist, or they are a Western invention, and I have actually been told that. So this manga is groundbreaking, and it's also one of the picks for Simon at Savage Reads Queer Quarterly. So I cannot wait to read this, and I'm highly looking forward to it. Okay, so now we're getting into the nonfiction section, and I have two books about Ikigai. And Ikigai is the Japanese way of finding out the meaning to life and the meaning of your life that you are living. So it's kind of about finding your place and doing the best within your own sphere to create your perfect life so that you have no regrets. So I actually have two books. I have this one, Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life by Héctor García and Francesc Miralles. This is actually from Spain, and it was first written in Spanish, and the authors are Spanish, but it's all about Japanese culture. And then I have this one, The Little Book of Ikigai, The Essential Japanese Way to Finding Your Purpose in Life by Ken Mogi, and this was first written in English, but Ken Mogi is a Japanese mental scientist, so I'm really looking forward to both of these, and I am going to kind of compare and contrast them. That's one of the things that I'm hoping to do. I've seen the TED Talk by Ken Mogi on maintaining your curiosity, and it is really good. So I'm really looking forward to both of these and seeing what they have to say. And another nonfiction I'm hoping to read this month is Patriotism by Yukio Mishima. And if you don't know, Yukio Mishima was a very controversial author. I happen to love Yukio Mishima, but he was also quite an extreme patriot, and I think that actually maybe he wouldn't like me to like his writing because he was very much a nationalistic Japanese only type person. So I'm hoping to learn more about that in his series of essays, Patriotism, because I'm hoping to do a video on why Japanese people don't like Yukio Mishima. So I am really looking forward to that, and it's short. It's only 30 pages, I believe. Okay, and the last nonfiction for the month I have is Bushido, The Soul of Japan by Inazo Nitobe. So Bushido is the way of living and the manner of lifestyle that one should have if they want to have a pure life, and this is the life system that samurai used to use to govern their own ways of living. I'm also hoping that it will be really interesting to see what elements of Bushido have maintained themselves to current day. There are no samurai currently. They're old-fashioned, sort of, like in America how you'd think of cowboys, but other cultures seem to be fixated on them, like, ooh, samurai! There are none, and Japanese people, like, they're a thing of the past. So Bushido should be a really interesting read, and I'm really looking forward to it. So now we're getting into historical fiction, and the next one up is going to be a brutal one. This was sent to me by my college professor, who is now my reading partner and good friend, and it is Butterfly in the Wind, The Life of Tojin Okichi, concubine against her will of the first American consul in Japan. So this is written and published by Rei Kimura, and she is a Japanese woman who now lives in Singapore, and this book was first published in English. A lot of Rei Kimura's writings are very controversial, and she publishes them abroad or on indie publishing sites. So I think that this blend of historical fact and Rei Kimura's fiction will be a really important read. The next one I was debating putting on or not because it is by an American author and it was published in English, but it is The Tale of Murasaki by Lisa Dalbey. And if you don't know, Lisa Dalbey is the first and perhaps only Westerner to ever become a geisha. She studied for a very long time and she became a full rights geisha. And in this one, she imagines the life of Murasaki, blending Murasaki's life with Dalbey's own fiction. The reason I picked this up was because I read half of The Tale of Genji, and I really, honestly, did not like it. I was not a fan. So, if you don't know, The Tale of Genji is the first novel ever written, and it was written by a woman, Lady Murasaki. So, I thought, well, I should probably read The Tale of Genji because it's such an important novel. It's the first and written by a woman. But since I don't like it, maybe if I got more of a background on the author, I might like it more. So that's why I'm going to read The Tale of Murasaki, even though it's not by a Japanese person. So I'm hoping that it will give me more background and I can better appreciate The Tale of Genji. If you have read either of these, please let me know. I feel like a lot of people know about The Tale of Genji, but not that many people have actually read it, and I'm not a fan. Yeah, so let me know. It would make me feel better. Okay, so next, let's get into the fiction reads. So I have kind of ranked these from sweet and unassuming to very visceral and violent. The spectrum goes very wide here. So let's start off with, I think, the sweetest one, and it's I Am a Cat by Natsume Soseki, Volume 1, and in this one, Soseki imagines the life of a house cat. So I think it will be really cute, and the cat talks about his master and all the things that he keeps seeing and like why he doesn't understand humans acting the way they're acting. So I think this should be a really cute read. I'm not like a huge cat lover, but I think cats are funny beings. Like they don't understand the world most of the time and they're just like bopping around doing whatever cats do. Okay, and next up I am buddy reading The Great Passage by Shion Miura with my aunt. And in this one we follow a man who is just about to retire, and his whole life he has loved language. He's been tasked with creating a 2,900 word book on the language of Japanese. And as he is compiling all his knowledge into this one book, but along the way he becomes a mentor to a young boy who also loves language, and I think it should be a great book about friendship and old age and the beauty of literature. So those are all things I really love, and this one I've been looking forward to ever since I got it, so I cannot wait to read it. Next up we have The Name of the Flower by Kuniko Mukoda. This is a collection of short stories which are eerie and creepy, and things are not as they appear. So it says, a wife's devoted effort to make her husband more refined is met by a vulgar betrayal. A fish mysteriously appears in a kitchen one afternoon and no one but the philandering husband knows why. A young wife-to-be revels in the attention she gets from her fiancé's assistant until she finds out what he's really after. And a man takes a day off work and discovers strange memories in the closets and drawers at home. So this is reminiscent to me of Banana Yoshimoto, and the reason that this, I think, became so popular is that shortly after the author was starting to become popular, she died in a plane crash. So it kind of spiked her popularity in Japan. So we shall see how this goes. Speaking of Banana Yoshimoto, the next up is by her, and it is The Lake, a book that I've been meaning to read for a while. I've heard that it's one of her darkest tales ever, and we follow a woman who goes to Tokyo and she's studying to be a graphic designer, but she feels very melancholy and lost until one day she meets a man and they embark on a fledgling romance. And over the summer, they decide to go visit his friends at a lake where the friends live a very monastic lifestyle. And things go down at the lake. I like Banana Yoshimoto's style, but I have not read her in a very long time. I hope I like it. And next up is The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea by Yukio Mishima. I have been meaning to read this one forever. It just seems like I just never got around to it, and I don't know why. That's why I'm so glad about this month, like finally pushing me to read all these ones that I should have been reading. So in this one, we follow a gang of 13-year-old boys who are focusing on becoming objective and focusing on objectivity, which is developing a sort of callousness to the world around them. And one day they realize that one of their mothers is having an affair with a ship captain, and at first they identify with the ship captain, but then they realize he's just a soft romantic, and things quickly down spiral from there. So if you've read Mishima, you know that usually stuff starts out pretty good and then it just like, woo, like down the crazy drain. So I'm so here for it. I've really wanted to read this for a long time. If any of you guys have read it, let me know. Was it amazing? Yeah, I'm so highly anticipating this one. I think that is going to be a 5-star read for sure. Whew. Okay, and the next one is also going to be a very hard-hitting one, but I believe it's going to be like Lord of the Flies plus War in Japan. Nip the Buds, Shoot the Kids by Kenzaburo Oe. And Oe is a very polarizing author, and actually I do not like him as an author, I'm just gonna say it. But I find his writing beautiful. I hate that he makes me like his writing. Like, oh man, I hate him, but I love his writing. So in this one we follow 15 boys who have been evacuated from a boys' school and sent to the countryside during war. And the villagers are very cautious of them, but mostly leave them alone until a plague breaks out, and then basically all hell breaks loose, and the boys have to form their own set of tribal rules and are trying to find respect and love and survive in this war-torn, desolate, plague-ridden backwater in Japan. I really have wanted to read this a long time. It's going to be violent and depressing, and Oe is probably going to do just dangerous things in that book. So the last one on this list is the most violent one of all time, and it is just a Japanese classic I have never read, and it is Battle Royale. Oh yeah, by Kushin Tagame. So this one, I've seen the movie multiple times and I know very well what happens. It is an island where basically students are fighting to the death, essentially. I've just never read it because I don't do well with gore. I do well with horror or like suspension or tension or anything scary like that, but if it's a lot of blood, sometimes I get grossed out and I have to like wait a while. Like that happened with Almost Transparent Blue by Ryu Murakami. I was like, oh my god, jeez, okay, well, we're just gonna set that down and not come back to it for a while. When I ask for Japanese recommendations, people are like, I'm sure you've read it, but Battle Royale? And I'm like, actually, no, because I'm afraid of blood. So yeah. If you guys have read it, let me know what you thought. Generally, I know it has super high scores. Everyone really likes it. So that wraps up my 15 books for Japanese June. If you would like to read any of these with me, please do let me know. I just really love Japanese literature so much, and these are only like half of all the Japanese books I have on my shelves, so look out. I'm going to do a Japanese library tour and I will just show you guys all the books that I have. as well as the whole month of June. I'm also going to be doing Japanese themed videos, such as my favorite authors or my least favorite authors, best books of all time, worst books of all time, and talking about elements in Japanese literature that I really love or that I think might be of interest to you guys. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button. It would really, really, really mean a lot. And without further ado, I'm gonna say bye for now. Toodles!